Okay, so today we're doing a deep dive into a really unsettling case from December 2016. A 19-year-old Sarah Stern, she vanished. Starts with her car, well, her grandmother's car, found abandoned on the Belmar Bridge in New Jersey.
Right. And immediately, alarm bells are ringing. Her family was devastated, obviously.
Yeah, and the immediate thought, especially given her mother had passed away not long before, was maybe suicide.
That was definitely a concern. But then there was this other possibility floating around. She had plans, hopes maybe, of moving to Canada, possibly using some inheritance money.
So it's this immediate puzzle, isn't it? Someone with a potential future, plans. How do they just disappear? And weirdly, the first lines of inquiry seem to point towards people she knew really well, childhood friends.
It starts with that 911 call, doesn't it? An Uber driver, anonymous, just reports this car, light-colored sedan, sitting there on the bridge.
Police show up, find the Oldsmobile 88. It's Sarah's grandmother's. Key is in the ignition. But no Sarah.
That detail, the key's still there.
Yeah.
It feels significant somehow, not like a
Yeah.
simple breakdown.
Exactly. And meanwhile, her dad, Michael Stern, he's away in Florida, trying frantically to reach her.
Their last contact was a text, right? December 1st.
Yeah, just something simple. Wow, the castle looks so pretty with the lights. Then nothing. By the next evening, December 2nd, he's sending messages like, Sarah, what's going on? Why is your phone off? Call me. You can just feel the anxiety ramping up.
Absolutely. And you imagine him down there getting more and more worried. Then you add in this other piece.
Mm.
The day before she went missing, Sarah dropped off some stuff at a neighbor's.
Things belonging to her mom, who had died.
Right. So naturally, the police are wondering about her mental state.
Mm.
Is this someone preparing to leave or preparing to end things? It's a difficult distinction early on.
Which brings us to Liam McAtasney, a key figure here. Childhood friend, knew her since, what, first grade?
Yeah. And when police talk to him, he paints this picture of Sarah. Depressed, he says. Wanted to get away from her dad, who he called crazy. Wanted that new start in Canada.
He even mentioned past suicidal thoughts, didn't he? And talked about a difficult home life after her mom died back in 2013.
It's a narrative that, on the surface, could maybe explain her just leaving. He also threw in some really personal details.
Like what?
Speculation about her relationships or lack thereof. No boyfriends, he said. He suspected she might be a lesbian, maybe obsessed with some YouTubers, and wondered how her family would take that. It's a lot of detail to offer up.
And then there's the money aspect. This is where it gets really complicated.
Very. Liam tells police Sarah felt her dad had maybe taken money meant for her after her mother died. But then he adds this twist.
The hidden cash.
Exactly. This secret stash of old bills Sarah supposedly found in her mom's house. Maybe $20,000. He even suggested up to $100,000 in a lockbox.
Wow. And Sarah apparently believed her mom left it for her like a backup plan.
Yeah, it was William's story. He even said Sarah went to the bank on December 2nd, the day she disappeared, supposedly, to deal with this money. He claimed he waited outside in the car.
It sort of fits the preparing to leave idea, but then the dog, Buddy.
Right. That's the detail that just doesn't sit right, does it?
Yeah.
She apparently adored that dog.
So leaving him caged at the house, unlocked, with her dad away, it just feels wrong. Completely out of character for someone devoted to their pet.
It's a major red flag. It contradicts that whole narrative Liam was building.
And then, pretty quickly after talking to police, Lima's parents get him a lawyer.
And that's it. Interviews stop. The police can't talk to him anymore.
Time passes, no sign of Sarah. The initial big search efforts are scaled back. And you start to fear, this might just go cold.
But then the whole investigation takes a sharp turn because of another childhood friend.
Yeah, Anthony Curry.
Anthony Curry, also friends with Sarah and Liam. And he's into filmmaking, right? An aspiring filmmaker.
Yes, and he remembers a conversation he had with Liam back in November 2016, just about a week before Sarah vanished.
And what was the conversation about?
Liam pitched him a movie idea.
But the plot was disturbing. It was about robbing a young woman, killing her, and then throwing her body off a bridge.
Whoa, okay. And Anthony just thought it was like a dark movie concept at the time.
Yeah, initially he just dismissed it. Creative people exploring dark themes, maybe. Didn't think much of it.
Till Sarah disappeared.
Exactly. Until he heard about Sarah vanishing and her car being found on the Belmar Bridge.
Oh man, the connection.
The parallels were suddenly horrifyingly clear. He couldn't ignore it. So in January 2017, he went to the police.
That takes guts. Realizing your friend might be involved in something terrible and then actually acting on it.
Absolutely. And that leads to this sting operation. The police ask Anthony to help.
How?
They arrange for Anthony to meet Liam January 31st, 2017, and Anthony agrees to wear a wire, secretly record their conversation.
Wow. Straight out of a movie itself. How did that meeting go?
Well, Liam was immediately suspicious. The first thing he does is check Anthony for wires. Says something like, I gotta feel you up real quick.
Yes, so paranoid from the start.
Definitely. And then he says something really revealing about his police interview. He basically boasts that it was all part of my plan to make me look not guilty.
He admitted he was trying to mislead them.
Pretty much. Yeah. Shows calculation. But then comes the confession.
He actually confesses on tape.
He does. He says, talking about Sarah, we threw off the bridge and the body never showed up.
Chilling. Just like that.
And he even speculates why. Maybe she was probably frozen or drifted all the way out in the ocean, just matter-of-factly.
The lack of emotion is terrifying. What else did he reveal on the recording?
The whole horrific sequence. Going to the bank with Sarah that day. She withdrew some money, he said, but not all of it.
Okay.
Then later, at her house, he choked her
Mm-hmm.
right after she walked out the front door.
In her own home.
Yeah. And he mentioned the dog, Buddy, just watching. Didn't do anything.
God, that's awful.
He even timed it. Said it took about half an hour for her to die.
He timed it.
That's what he said on the tape. And then, more details. He realized he'd misplaced his phone at Sarah's house.
Panicked, presumably.
Seems likely. And he involved his roommate, Preston Taylor. Preston apparently moved Sarah's body into some bushes outside while Liam went to his job.
To establish an alibi.
Exactly. Then, after work, Liam came back, and he and Preston moved the body again to the back fence area.
This is just methodical, cold.
He even backed Sarah's car out of the driveway to make it look like she'd left normally. They used walkie-talkies to coordinate.
Walkie-talkies, like, planned it all out.
Clearly. And he described struggling to get her body over the bridge railing, said she was heavier than he expected. A really gruesome detail.
And the motive was it the money he talked about?
Yes. Greed. He thought she had that $50,000 to $100,000 he'd mentioned, but he only found about $10,000.
$10,000, not the huge amount he imagined.
No. And he said the bills were old, bad condition. Complained he only got like, what, $7,000 out of it?
He killed her for $7,000.
Based on his own words in that recording, yes. But
Yeah.
staggering.
So with that recording,
It was undeniable. The police moved in fast. Liam McAtasney and Preston Taylor were arrested the very next day, February 1st, 2017.
and Preston, did he talk?
He did. Faced with the evidence, Preston cooperated. He confirmed the whole plan was about getting money.
He backed up Liam's confession.
Absolutely. He described what happened on December 2nd, seeing Sarah's body in the downstairs bathroom at her house, helping Liam move her.
Did he provide details about disposing of the body?
Yes, he took investigators to the bridge. Described exactly how they did it. Liam holding her shoulders, Preston holding her legs, pushing her feet over the railing.
Just devastating detail.
He also told them where they'd hidden the money. First in an attic, then buried in a park. Some of it they'd apparently already spent on weed.
And Preston's reason for getting involved in all this?
His explanation was unsettlingly mundane. He said he was just starting to move out and he was getting tired of his job.
That's his justification for helping dispose of a body, tired of his job.
It's hard to fathom. But that cooperation was key. Preston pleaded guilty.
What kind of deal did he get?
He agreed to testify against Liam. In exchange, he got 18 years in prison. He'll be eligible for parole after, I think, about 15 years and 3 months.
So his testimony sealed Liam's fate.
It certainly helped build an overwhelming case. But even with all that, Liam showed no remorse.
Still sticking to the movie plot story.
Right through the trial, and even at sentencing. Just insisting it was all fiction, an idea he had.
But the physical evidence.
He completely contradicted him. His phone, found on Sarah's lawn, had the stopwatch running around the time she died.
The stopwatch he mentioned timing her death with.
Precisely. Then there was the recovered money matching the amount missing from Sarah's lockbox. And the walkie-talkies they used. It all lined up.
So the jury didn't buy the movie plot defense?
Not at all. He was convicted of everything. First-degree murder, felony murder, robbery, conspiracy, desecrating remains, hindering apprehension, tampering with evidence. The works.
And the sentence?
Life without parole. He and Preston both appealed, but their appeals failed. They're both still in prison.
And Sarah's family is left to somehow cope with this unimaginable loss.
It's just a horrific story of betrayal, someone she knew literally since she was a little kid.
Yeah, someone she trusted implicitly, you'd imagine. And all for, relatively speaking, not a huge amount of money. It wasn't the fortune he thought it was.
It really wasn't. The whole thing is just tragic and senseless,
Yeah,
and you really have to give credit to Anthony Curry.
absolutely. If he hadn't connected that movie plot to reality,
And if he hadn't had the courage to come forward and then participate in that sting,
this case could easily have remained unsolved. Another missing person statistic, leaving her family without answers. His actions were crucial.
it really underscores how vital it is for people to speak up, even when it involves someone they know.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? About relationships, about trust, how someone you've known forever could harbor such darkness, driven by greed.
It forces you to confront that unsettling possibility that the motivations behind people's actions, even those closest to us, can sometimes be hidden and truly shocking when they finally come to light. What drives someone to that point? It's a disturbing question to leave you with.